Hello and welcome to It's Milwaukee. I'm your host Ashley Pluger. On today's show, we'll be checking out Miller Brewery and we'll also head down to the lakefront to see what Discovery World has to offer. Let's get this show started. I started my day at Miller Brewing Company, located on 4251 West State Street.
Our annual numbers are over 100,000 a year. We have a big influx of guests from outside Milwaukee that come during the summertime, during vacation, or they come to see a Brewers game. So we can have as many as 1,500 to 2,000 people on tour in one day, but that typically happens in our peak seasons.
Miller Coors provides a free tour for all guests.
The company is very supportive of what we offer here. I mean, they want people to come in, they want them to learn about beer and to be able to sample some of the fantastic brands that we have at the end of the tour. So it's important for them to provide us an opportunity with the right budgets and, the right business plan to actually offer a free tour. It's something we worked very hard to maintain over the years, as it started as a free tour and remains that way today, and especially in today's economy that doesn't happen very often, but I think it really shows how much Miller Coors supports the tour centers both here in Golden, Colorado as well as Chippewa Falls.
What can guests expect on a tour?
We show how we brew our beer from the very beginning process, which happens in our brew house, all the way through our packaging facilities, and then into distribution, where you'll see our very large distribution warehouse. It's really about the process from beginning to end, but it's also about the history and the legacy that Frederick Miller left here, where the whole Miller Valley is just steeped in rich tradition and brewing heritage, and I think people really learn a lot about that on the tour. It can be very educational from that perspective. And then the most unique thing that they'll see when they come here on tour is our historic caves, where Frederick Miller used to store his beer before mechanical refrigeration was invented, and that really drives things home to really understand how things used to be and now how far they've come in today's modern brewing society.
Kendra explains the selection process of what beers they choose to sample at the end of the tour.
But we typically always try to have either a Miller Lite or Coors Light, which are kind of the company's flagship brands there, as one of the first samples. But with all the new innovation that comes out, we work really hard to have some of those new innovative beers on tap. Certainly the ones that are extremely popular, like Reds, is just on fire right now. Everybody wants to taste it, and anybody who's tasted it is coming back for more. So we try to have that on tap most recently, but we've got new brands coming out in the future, and if they're available on draft, which is a key piece for us for our sampling, if we can get it on draft, we're going to try to get it in here so folks can sample it at the end of the tour. But that changes all the time, so that's how we decide basically, is what's new and what can we get from a distribution standpoint.
The amount of beer produced in a day was shocking to me.
We produce 2,000 cans a minute, so about 500,000 cases a day.
What beer do you think is the most popular?
Coors Light is one of our leading brands, as well as Miller Lite. We're seeing some great trends with the new Miller Lite can, which is actually the original can that was introduced back in the 70s. So we've reintroduced that can now, and we've seen some great growth out of that brand. So those are probably our top two.
Kendra told me about Miller Fortune.
It's not being produced here in Milwaukee. It's one of our newer beers. I understand it's extremely popular out at retail, and I think people are really enjoying it. It's a nice full-calorie beer, and it's generating a lot of buzz out there.
I tried to see if there was a new beer in the works.
Things change a lot. When they reintroduce brands, they put it in the correct plant based on where distribution needs to originate, and then how far transportation needs to be from that plant. So there's a lot of factors that go into which beer is produced where, also the types of packaging that it goes into and what plants have what capabilities. So there's a lot of factors that go into that. So it's hard to say what would come.
Believe it or not, Milwaukee isn't Miller's largest distributor.
About 40% of our production here goes straight to Chicago. So without a doubt, from the Milwaukee plant, the largest city for consumption is Chicago.
We have a giant Miller High Life bottle on a wall with an interesting story behind it.
We put that in last year. It celebrated the Miller High Life 110th anniversary. We actually had that bottle brought in from another state. It was actually part of a billboard in another state, and they no longer needed the bottle, and we really felt that it would be a great addition to the tour and kind of a nice photo op for people coming here to tour through the Milwaukee Brewery. So it's been a fun addition to put in, especially during Harley's 110th anniversary, which is sponsored by Miller High Life. It was just a good tie-in, good fit.
Kendra explained why Miller is so important to Milwaukee.
The heritage here it originated really with beer. I mean, that's what made Milwaukee famous, is all of the different beers that were brewed here back in the 1800s, and the fact that we're still here almost 160 years later. We are the oldest active large-scale brewery in the U.S. This is a pretty important place to have that. So I think with the legacy of all the different brewing that's happened in Milwaukee, it's a perfect place for us to be. Makes a good fit.
I really enjoyed the Miller Brewery tour. If you're in the Milwaukee area, you should definitely check it out. Next, we're going to head down to the lakefront and see what Discovery World has to offer. I took a trip to the lakefront to go check out Discovery World, located right next to the art museum on the lake.
And Discovery World is actually a 32-year-old organization. We started in the public library. We're actually in the basement of the old Milwaukee Public Library. Then after that, we moved into the Milwaukee Public Museum, if you recall Discovery World being housed within the public museum itself. And then recently, in the past 7 years, we've been at this location, located next to the art museum on the lake.
Discovery World has many exhibits for everyone.
Discovery World's exhibits are designed to showcase Milwaukee entrepreneurs and innovators. You'll see some of the local companies we've showcased within our exhibit spaces include Johnson Controls, we've partnered with Rockwell, as well as Badger Meter, just to name a few.
Discovery World is home to Milwaukee's only aquarium.
The Ryman Aquarium is a really, really unique place here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We have a tall ship schooner that in the winter actually travels down to the Caribbean or is housed up the river. So in the Ryman Aquarium, we wanted to showcase both saltwater fish and freshwater fish. So as you travel through the Ryman Aquarium, you're actually taking the journey that the Dennis Sullivan takes from Milwaukee all the way down to the Caribbean.
Kristen talked about Discovery World expanding.
We have a lot of great exhibits at Discovery World. You ask about expanding. We have recently implemented our Innovation Gallery Showcase. The Innovation Gallery Showcase is meant to be shorter exhibits that rotate more frequently. Hopefully within this space we'll soon be seeing an exhibition on golf as well as biking.
If you're really into seeing boats, Discovery World has 2 of them.
We do have a replica of a boat as well as our own tall ship schooner. We have the oldest 19th century recreation of a tall ship schooner. That schooner does have to go upriver or down to the Caribbean in the winters. So when we can't have the beautiful Dennis Sullivan outside our door, visitors can enjoy the challenge. We've actually recreated a tall ship schooner that we suspended in the ceiling, and that is our challenge.
The Kohl's Design It Lab is a favorite with guests.
Our most popular exhibit actually isn't even an exhibit. Our most popular exhibit is the Kohl's Design It Lab. We have a lab that's open to families on the weekends. Families can come in and order off an entire menu of projects to make and take home. We're teaching design, materials, and methods on how to make products to take home in the Kohl's Design It Lab. It's packed every single weekend, operates like a cafe, and is sure to guarantee a good time, as well as understanding how to use new materials and new tools.
When you visit Discovery World, you will notice that the building has 2 different parts to it.
Discovery World is where blue sky meets blue water. Our museum is actually divided into 2 separate buildings. We have the Aquatarium, which focuses on freshwater innovations, and also houses our Ryman Aquarium. We also have the Techno Building, which houses things like our Johnson Controls exhibit or our Industrial Design Lab, the Kohl's Design It Lab. We're bringing the man-made world to the natural world, and the intersection where those 2 meet is Discovery World.
Discovery World offers different options for guests on the weekend.
On the weekends, Discovery World opens our doors to thousands of visitors each day. Visitors not only can enjoy the great exhibits that we have to offer, as well as our 10 labs and studios. Right now, we're sitting in our video studio, where visitors can pick up a guitar and take a virtual lesson from Les Paul home. They can also enjoy our live theater show Tesla Lives. If you want to see 20 million volts of electricity live, be sure not to miss the live show Tesla Lives. In addition to that, they can take a behind-the-scenes tour of our Ryman Aquarium where you get to meet a Discovery World aquarist. They also, if it's here, they should hop on the Dennis Sullivan to enjoy a new view of Lake Michigan.
If you're looking to get your kids into a summer camp, Discovery World has many options for you.
At Discovery World, we have 10 labs and studios. These labs and studios include our video studio, which we're sitting in right now, an industrial design lab, the Coles Design It Lab, as well as the Miller Coors Thirst for Freshwater Innovation Lab. For 11 weeks this summer, we are going to be showcasing about 50 different camps. Everything from bike design in our industrial design lab, designing your own biking accessories, to make an electric guitar camp, where you not only get to do the electronics, design, and learn how to play your own custom electric guitar. These camps are offered for 3rd through 12th grade, are Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 4:30 p.m., and are offered for 11 weeks throughout the summer. They're filling up fast, so I would highly encourage you to sign up now.
I've learned that Discovery World has 2 theaters.
Discovery World also has 2 theaters. One houses our live theater show Tesla Lives, that's our innovation theater, as well as our digital theater, which houses up to 150 guests.
Kristen was very passionate about Discovery World.
Discovery World's main purpose is a center for public innovation. We are building the next generation of innovators and entrepreneurs, whether it's within our exhibit spaces, within our 10 labs and studios, or on the Dennis Sullivan. We're bringing visitors here to inspire them to build a brighter future. We say that the real Discovery World is outside Discovery World. We want our visitors to come through these doors, get inspired, understand Milwaukee, to build a better Milwaukee in the future.
Thanks, Kristen. Now you'll see some footage of the famous Miller Caves. In 1855, they were used as storage and refrigeration up until 1906. They are 16 feet high and 15 feet wide. The caves were also used for parties. Here's Frederick Miller to talk more about the caves.
There were many good beer gardens in Germany, it is true, but I am proud to say ours is the best in Milwaukee. Oh, perhaps I should introduce myself. I am Frederick Miller. And you are standing in my famous caves. I must apologize for the temperature. It is a bit cool, to be sure, but it is all by design. You see here, 60 feet underground. My specially crafted beer stays perfectly cool all the year round. Don't worry, that is just the sound of the ice shifting around us. There are literally tons of ice lining the chambers of these walls. Each winter, we harvest thousands of pounds of ice from Milwaukee Lake, as well as other area lakes and ponds, and then pack these caves solid, keeping my beer fresh, cool, even on the hottest summer days.
Frederick Miller now talks about Miller time.
The moments in life that are made just a little better when friends shared our Miller beer. I understand that they now call these moments Miller time. I'm honored that those moments on our beer still bear the Miller name. I think it's time for me to get back to my family and the party. You? I think you know what time it is. Ross!
After Frederick talks, the lights go on in the cave. The story of Gambrinus is that he's a legendary European hero, celebrated as an icon of beer and brewing. Legend said he has no special power, but to bless brews or to make crops grow. Here's some footage of the Discovery World exhibits. The first exhibit I went to was the Rockwell Automation Dream Machine. They had a wind sensor that when you pressed the button, the art museum wings spread open. This is a gear area where you can press buttons and turn knobs to see how things work. Next, I headed up to the second level in the tech building and went to Les Paul's House of Sound. I found this very interesting mural. I'll give you a minute to read it. There's many activities for kids to do. I even took part in the fun. This was a fun thing to mess with. You turn the knob and the vibrations go higher or lower. Let's take a closer look at the Les Paul exhibit. For those who don't know, Les Paul was born in Waukesha, Wisconsin, and was an innovator, inventor, musician, and songwriter. He was one of the pioneers of the solid gold body electric guitar, which made the sound of rock and roll possible. In the 1950s, Les recorded with his wife Mary Ford. They sold millions of records. My favorite part of the Les Paul exhibit was when I got to see a record through a microscope. You can see every line of the record, which is really cool. After the Les Paul exhibit, I went to the Great Lakes Future exhibit in the Aquatarium building. There, you will see how the Great Lakes work and how they run into each other. They have a cool waterfall that acts as a thunderstorm. They also have fish that belong in the Great Lakes. While I was there, I saw some bluegill. After the lakes, I went to City of Freshwater and the Badger Meter Liquid House exhibit. They have a water tornado they call Beautiful Chaos. A vortex occurs when tremendous forces are aligned and working together. Too much energy in the vortex whirls out of control, too little and vanishes. The last exhibit I went to was the Ryman Aquarium. In the aquarium, they have places where you can stand over the fish. The best part is when you walk into the tunnel of fish. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching It's Milwaukee. Go visit Milwaukee.